Oh yeah, that's really coarse. Nice. Good enough for you? Today I'm going to review the DMT Sharpening Stone System. You can get this on Amazon for anywhere between $80 and $100, which is actually cheap for diamond sharpening stones. I have a few other diamond sharpening stones. I have the DMT flattening plate. I have a few of the smaller pocket stones. I even have a file that I refine with. I like them. They cut really well and they cut fast. My only problem with them, really twofold, is the price. Normally to get a decent one, and they're not all the same, the DMT tend to have closer globulars of crystals, and the other ones, the competitors, cheaper ones, not so much. But these are pretty cheap for DMT, so I thought I'd give them a try. You don't have to use any cutting fluid on diamond stones, but this suggests that you do. So just to give them a fair shake, I went ahead and bought what they suggest. We'll try that first. But one of the advantages of these is that you don't have to soak them. What do we got here? But if you got to use fluid, it's still going to be messy. So I'm hoping that ultimately I don't need to use fluid here. We'll see though. And my other problem with these is they usually wear out fast. So let's see if that's the case. So I brought you guys in for a closer look here. I have 3 different grits. This is the coarse, the red one is the fine, and then the green is the extra fine. I have 3 different work knives here, pocket folders, Spyderco. If you're interested, they get really wore out at work because I use them from everything to scrape concrete, open paint cans, whatever. Your knife is the first offense between you having to go to the truck to get the tool that you should actually be using. Let's give this a little bit of fluid. Oop. I think that's plenty. Let's see how it cuts. First cut. Oh yeah, that's really coarse. Nice. Switch hands. Work that tip for a second. I bet I'm where I need to be. Yeah, that looks really good. That's already taken all those chips out of there. I had one little one there yet, but that's pretty deep. I'm probably just gonna leave that be. Give it a couple more fine refining strokes, and we're moving on to the next stone. I mean, that was all of, in real time, 60 seconds. So before I move on to that other stone, I'm just gonna go ahead and take my other knives up at the same time. So bear with me here and enjoy the view. One good way to think about sharpening is just continually making that burr, after you establish a burr, making it smaller and smaller and smaller. So as you finish on each stone, you go lighter and lighter pressure. And just imagine building up to a microscopic smoothness. That's how you develop that extra wicked fine edge, which you don't need for a pocket knife, but you can certainly get close quickly. And on these stones, quick is quick. Okay, so this is only the second knife, and I know you guys won't believe me, but already I can feel it's not quite as aggressive as it was on the first knife. And that's always been my experience with diamond stones, is that they cut wicked fast, wicked well, and then you knock the tops off of them because they're too hard. They'll still cut, and they'll still cut terrific for a long time, but you're not going to get the same lower grit grind time that you want out of one of these. The bad way to put it, but you guys follow. These aren't going to be 320 for very long. In fact, already this feels more like a 400 somewhere in there, maybe even a 500, but it cuts and polishes really nice, and I know it's gonna last. Yeah, I would say it started at 320, and just after one knife, it's probably at 400, which is still wicked fast. Let's switch to the red one, which is the fine. Let's see what we got here. This does have a little oleaginous texture to it. It's not just water, but I imagine Windex or some kind of water with soap in it would work just fine too. But I'm curious to see if any kind of fluid is necessary. Definitely finer. I'd say this feels like 1,000 out of the box anyway. Cutting to about a Shapton 1,000. You guys have probably heard me go on about Shapton glass stones, but those are my other preferred stones, and I got these to see if I might like them even more. I like Shapton glass for many reasons, but the main reason I got into them as a system is because there's flash and go, meaning no soaking. And normally when I get up the energy and time to sharpen knives, I want to do a bunch of them all at once, and it's normally on a moment's notice. So having a time to soak a beautiful, wonderful Japanese whetstone for really 30 minutes, most of them, I just don't have that kind of time. Although I do love them, and if I have time and think about it, I like sharpening on them. Already this is $1. Already, second knife, I'd say this is probably around a 1,200 now. That's the issue, that and price, but it's not a deal breaker because these still cut really fast. Just really quickly, not as fast. One thing I really like about this is it comes with a really nice hardwood case. I'm a sucker for cases. I hate buying tools without a case. I like the old days when they had good old hard cases. Nowadays you get those canvas bags, which just don't stack as nice, but it is what it is. I'll be saying that on and on like Kurt Vonnegut. And so it goes. If you know, and so it goes, drop it in the doobly-doo below. I'll give you a hint. Billy Pilgrim, Unstuck in Time. Slaughterhouse 5, if you haven't read it, read it. All right, I'm being a little nitpicky here, but I discovered that if you really pull back on your backstroke, that the tip, you hear that, can get down inside of this paper encrusted diamonds, and well, that's not a big deal. You can just adjust your technique a little. If you're on a kitchen knife and you hit that hard enough, I think you could break the tip. Just something to be mindful of. We'll go one-handed so you can see. Just don't want to come up too far. That's okay. A little more and you can get down in there, especially with a fine tip. Something to be mindful of. Getting nitpicky, but I'm going to lighten up that pressure. That's going to be nice. We'll do the paper test here. All right, I haven't even stropped these yet. Let's see how they do with no strop. Should still cut fine. Yeah, no problem. A little grabby there. So let's strop it. Give it the best chance it can have on a diamond compound. Not 100 times, just 9 times or so on each side. Lighten up the pressure as you go. Much better just for that. Let's see. I'd say that is good enough for work. Before you accuse me of not testing the other ones. Good enough for you? There's this one, just in case you're wondering. They all cut just fine. If you had a kitchen knife, you'd probably want to add one more stone. I would say the Green Brick of Joy would be a good one because it's not quite a polish. Just ate sushi this morning, which was delicious. And if you like sushi rolls or you're a sushi chef, you're not going to get there with this, but you can certainly get there with this and one more stone. All right, guys, quickly, I'm giving these a grade because I'm headed out for a walk here. These get a A- in my view. Love the case. They cut really fast. They dull out quickly, as all diamond stones do. If you were sharpening kitchen knives, you would need one more stone, which they sell at a separate cost. The cost on this is really good for high-end diamond stones. A- is not a bad grade. That is damn near perfect. So nothing to shake a stick at, just a few faults. But I will be using these for a while, and we'll see how I feel about them. But right now, knowing what I know about sharpening, which is plenty, these will work, and you can even use them to sharpen an axe, I'm sure. So if you're having trouble cutting a particular steel, diamonds are the one thing that will cut. But if your steel's that hard on anything anyway, I frankly wouldn't want it. But there are some super steels out there that some guys like on bushcraft knives, because you don't have to sharpen very often. And don't let anybody fool you. A Scandi grind is a pain in the ass to sharpen because you have to remove so much metal. A-. Well, guys, until the next one, this is Kevin's Disobedience. Checking out. I'm headed for a walk.